Hello and welcome to the Work for Change podcast. My name is Jean.
My name is John.
And my name is spelled like Gene.
My name is spelled like John.
Yay. I said I wasn't going to do that because that's like my YouTube channel thing. But
And you lied.
But people like
You're
it.
a liar.
I was surprised how quick. I did it like on 2 episodes, like 2 vlogs. And the next time I did it, someone was like, where's the Gene? Where's the Gene? And I was like, oh, dang, that
man.
caught on quick.
Yeah, things catch on like that.
I know. I like it. It's really corny, but I like it. So whatever.
It is very corny.
It's very corny.
Cool. Well, so this episode is just going to be me and my brother.
It's brought to you by Comtrain.
No. They're not going to get that joke until later.
Exactly. You'll appreciate it.
You'll
appreciate this joke in about an hour.
Yeah, we like those long jokes here on the podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we talk about a bunch of stuff. We had a really good time. So it was really nice being able to do another broadcast, the Glodcast podcast.
Glodcast podcast. That's what we call these ones where we don't have a guest. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. We do this on purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like we're like, oh no, who are we gonna ask? Like we have people. We're fine. But you guys really seem to enjoy us just talking. Yeah. A lot of people like the brother element of it. And let me tell you, we get into some brother conversation. we talk about why we were mad at each other this week. And by each other, I mean why I was mad at him this week.
Yeah. So, real quick, we just want to say this episode is sponsored by
Invictus.
This left shoe here. Yeah. We got all the sponsors this week. But yeah, so I do want to say before we get into it, again, as always, if you're on iTunes or anywhere, if you could give us a 5-star rating, write a review, really, really would appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think about the episodes. We are really stoked. I mean, the podcast is doing really well, so we are very, very happy, very appreciative of you guys, and we're just excited to see where it will be in the new year. So,
yeah, I mean, we are already coming towards the end of the year, so that is crazy, but it's super exciting. We keep on growing, so thank you to everyone who is brand new, like who's been here within the last couple episodes. Just thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys like it. Just like my brother was saying, the rating is what's going to allow us to keep on showing up in people's recommended or showing up on the top charts. Like they like that people are listening, but they also love engagement. And so when there's engagement going on with the episode, it pops up and then more people know about us. And
put it on your Instagram stories, tag us. That is one of my favorite. I love seeing when you guys tag us on the Instagram stories and stuff like that.
I was telling you about this earlier. It was really cool. I was just scrolling through my explore section on Instagram, and then I went through someone's story. And our Work for Change podcast was they're loving this podcast. They didn't tag us, so we didn't know about it. I just saw it in the wild. And it was
wild.
It was literally, it was so cool. I was like, that's awesome. So keep on listening, but tag us because we like to repost it. We like to talk to you guys about it. It's fun.
Yeah, it's been really, having the podcast has been a really awesome outlet for me. And so I hope you guys enjoy. Is this episode 8?
I think it's 8.
Episode 8 of the Work for Change podcast. So today I want to start the podcast with a little story.
Oh, no. I don't... Okay, that sentence by itself is the sentence is fine.
You know the
but
story.
It's your face. Your face is just so ugly.
It's always... Your face is always ugly.
Everything you say...
I actually hate you
sounds
so
fine.
Much. It's just your
ugly
just
looking at you just hurts.
So just don't watch this podcast on YouTube, I guess. But okay. So the story, I guess you already got me back for it. So this week, me and my brother had a pretty big fight. It's for the stupidest reason.
I wouldn't even call it a fight.
It was Jean didn't talk to me for a whole day.
Yeah. That's not a fight.
That's a natural reaction to what happened.
It's not a fight.
So this week, Jean recently has decided to do his own programming. Well, not his own programming, but you're doing Misfit, right?
I am on Misfit now.
And he's doing his own stuff. And that's great, whatever. And what was the reason you wanted to do it?
Okay, well, hold on. So, to everyone who doesn't know what Misfit is it's auxiliary. Well, no, it's not auxiliary. It's a whole
it's a whole thing.
I am no longer doing the programming at Darkside.
Yeah, 'cause it's too good for it, I guess.
I am doing Misfit because they just deal with cycles and they deal with a lot. It's just a lot more. I really want to do what I can with my training right now. I want to see how good I can get. That's kind of the reasoning behind it. So, I forgot what you were saying, but that's what Misfit is.
I was just, I know, but so I was asking why you started it, like the reason. So.
In a typical class setting, you're gonna do one strength movement, and then you're doing like a 15-minute Metcon, and so I just really felt like I want to be doing more. Literally, like it is an hour of work in the class, but it's like one major lift, one 15-minute Metcon if it went long, you know? And so it was like I just really wanted to add more. And so now I'm doing like strength, I'm doing like 3 Metcons, maybe like an interval thing, you know, et cetera, and I'm really feeling it, feeling good.
So you basically wanted to do it because you felt like I want to get more fit, and I think this is a way for that to happen.
Yep.
Basically. So
that is, in less words, yes.
So Jean decided to do that, and so we haven't really been doing workouts together at all. But then he was like, okay, I'm going to do this workout that he saw from Nick Bear on his channel, right? So because that wasn't a Misfit thing. It was just like something you were like, hey, I want to try this.
Yeah, so there was another popular YouTuber. His name's Nick Bear. He flirted with CrossFit for a little bit. Now he kind of does his own thing. And he posted on his YouTube channel trying the hundreds CrossFit workout. And I'm like, what? What is that? I've never heard of that before. It's pretty much a workout he made up, even though it is very similar to other CrossFit workouts. And I looked at it and I was like, these are pretty easy movements. Like I might be able to beat him at it. So that was like the whole reasoning behind it. Like, let me try this.
Yeah. And so that was on a Friday. Was it Friday? Yeah. Yeah, it was Friday because I did it on Saturday.
Okay.
So so John did it on a Friday, and it looked horrible. It looked really, really terrible. So the workout was it's 5 rounds of 20-calorie bike, 20 wall balls with 20 pounds, 20 box jumps, 24 inches, 20 burpees, 20 kettlebell swings, 5 rounds, 100, right? That's why it gets the 100 name. So Jean did it. And I actually helped him film a little bit, and, I just helped him out. And I was watching the workout, and in my head, I was like, this looks terrible, like really, really bad. I want to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I don't know why I thought this would be like an easy workout. Like,
and your plan was to beat Nick.
Yeah, right? And everyone in the gym was like, yeah, we don't want to do that. I'm like, why doesn't anyone want to do this workout?
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Nice little warm-up.
Yeah, exactly. No.
And so Nick Bear ended up getting 29:22.
Yeah.
And then how long did it take?
I ended up getting 40 minutes and 50 seconds. And it was just like, I could have gotten a faster time. I know I could have. But it was like.
I know you could have too.
That's
something you need to work on. 100%.
Once I hit the I'm not going to beat him, it became I just need to finish this workout. And so all intensity left. And it was just like literally snot dripping out of my nose, just going through the motions to get all the reps done.
And so he ends up finishing it or whatever. And I don't know, it was like maybe 15 minutes after you're done, 20 minutes after you're done. And I went up to him and I was just like, why didn't you ask me to do this workout with you? Like, it looks fun. And he's just literally straight face, because I didn't want you to beat me.
Yeah, exactly. This is going up to my YouTube channel. I'm supposed to look like the hero here. And if you come in as this guest appearance and just crush me at the workout.
So I was like, okay, whatever, that's cool. And then I woke up
But here's probably what you don't know is like I stopped doing class workouts because I keep on competing with you. Yeah. So it's like I'm not like if
and losing.
Yeah, well, no. If there's a muscle up, I'll crush you at it.
That's true.
And so it's like I am not. Instead of like, oh, this is a good workout where I can try to go unbroken because I need to work on my barbell cycling. I think, how can I game this to beat my brother? Like literally, it's like that is every single workout is like, how can I game this? How can I do this? How can I do this? So it was like I'm doing different programming because it is more all inclusive. Like it's more inclusive. There's a lot more involved, but I don't need to worry about you doing the workout. And then comes Saturday.
So I mean, it's good. I get that. It's good. That it's funny that you say that because I think one of the strongest things that we've had as far as how we've progressed is that that. Being able to like game off of each other and because we push each other, like I don't want to get beat by you ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And you don't ever want to get beat by me.
No, I don't.
And so that has been a big reason why I think we've progressed as fast as we have. Not that we're that great, but for people that have been doing CrossFit for 2 years, 3 months,
2 years,
like so then I wake up on Saturday and I'm like thinking because Saturdays I usually just like will make up a workout on my own and do it at the gym. I'll get there like at 7 a.m. and I'll do the workout, right? So I was like trying to think of it, and then I just thought, I was like, that workout Jean did look pretty terrible, and it was like it wasn't super technical. On Saturdays, I like to just do workouts that you just move, right? And that's what I'm kind of good at, workouts that are just grunt work. For some reason, I actually said it in my video that I put up on my second channel. It's workouts that are just grunt work where you move through them. I think because of the stair climber that I do so much, it's like people don't know when I say I do 30 minutes, it's not like I'm just chilling. Like I am sweating and I'm pushing myself every time. Mm-hmm. It's not like I'm just chilling, right? So I think that's a big part of why 20-30 minute workouts I do well in. So I was like, okay, I'll just do the workout, and then I thought, well, I kind of want to film it because this will be a cool video.
Yeah. Well, interesting. It would be a cool video that lives on my channel.
but I didn't have any ideas, so I just stole yours. And so then I did the workout, and I literally didn't know what Nick's time was. I had no idea. I just knew that you were 39, 40 minutes or something like that, right? So I was like, okay. And I remember in your video you said something about 6 minutes around would be good enough to beat his time.
Yeah.
So I remember as I started the workout, and then I finished the first round, and I looked back because I had my timer behind me, and it said 5:20, and I was like, oh snap!
I did 5:30 my first round.
Yeah. So I was like, I can keep this up because I really felt like I was.
I looked at 5:30 and was like, I'm screwed. Literally, it was like looking at the clock and seeing that it was 5:30 and I was only 30 seconds ahead. I went balls to the wall for that first round, and nope.
What was it like? What was the hard part for you?
The breathing. It was it was literally I was redlining that entire first round.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't 80-90% effort. That was 100% effort.
Yeah.
And so then it was the second round I was still on pace, but then the assault bike on the third round just completely took everything out of me.
With the assault bike too, if you don't tell yourself, I look at the RPMs, right?
Yeah.
And so I told myself I need to stay at above 60 minimum. Because if you don't, you'll just end up pedaling, and then 1 calorie would take 30 seconds sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I was that's what I was telling myself was the assault bike is going to be the worst part, which it wasn't for me, but in my head that's what I was telling myself. So I was like, you have to push through it and hurt, right? For me, the hardest part was the box jumps. I just am not good at them.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think I still weigh 205, so I'm still tossing a bunch of weight up there. Mm-hmm. But so I ended up saw that, and then I was like, okay, I think I can do well. Maybe be around this time again. I didn't remember exactly what it was. I went through the workout, was doing it, blah, blah, blah. I finished the workout at 29:20. So that ended up being 2 seconds faster than Nick's time, and almost 10 minutes.
11 minutes
11 minutes faster than yours. So
you could have done the workout again.
Just do it twice, 10 rounds. So then I texted my brother, and I just sent him the time with the smiley face. And he didn't reply.
I was so mad.
And then I saw him at the gym. He came later. You just wouldn't talk to me.
I was just really short. And I was trying to figure it out. I know it's a stupid thing to be mad about, and that's kind of, it wasn't that I was mad at you. I was mad because I couldn't figure out why I was so mad, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And it's just because I'm doing this whole new thing to not compete with you, you know what I mean? And I knew you could beat me at that workout.
Yeah.
So for you just to be oh yeah, I did it. I also filmed a YouTube video about it. It's what? You mean you did what I did yesterday?
Yeah, exactly. I ran out of ideas, so I needed something.
Yeah.
So then that day, I think I was messing with him, and I went I don't know what I did, but then he was like, "Stop touching me! You're always touching me."
Because you are. You'll walk out of the room and then just flick my ear or something. It just irritates me. But it was just enough at that point that day where I was okay, leave me alone.
So then we had the holiday party here at our gym, and we saw him. We were actually, me and my roommates went to Target, and then we bumped into him and Sam, his girlfriend, at Target, and he was still, I could tell he was still mad at me. And then my roommates were just is he still mad? I was like, yeah, he definitely is.
I was just literally just trying to mentally wrap my mind around why am I mad, and then I just become, it's just a cycle, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. In my head, or if it's I'm angry, I'm frustrated, and then it's okay, in the long term, this is just a workout. To be mad about a workout is so stupid. Mm-hmm. But it was but what about this made me mad,
Yeah.
And so I was literally just trying to process it and go through it. And while I was doing that, I just wasn't talking to you.
Yeah. So that was the story I wanted to tell to start off the podcast.
It's glorious. Yeah. So in other news, I hate my brother. We're looking for a new co-host for the Work for Change podcast.
This is the last episode.
Okay, so in CrossFit news, just switching gears, 100%. For everyone who doesn't know, CrossFit used to have a really easy process that was open, regionals, games.
That's how you made it to the
Everyone
games.
in the world does the open. In order to go to the games, you have to do the open. Every single person. That's the starting off point. The best people in specific regions move up to regionals. The best people at regionals move on to the CrossFit Games. That was like a really simple...
It's kind of like if you think of football, right? There's regular season, and then certain teams make it to the playoffs, and then certain teams from the playoffs make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was exactly the same thing.
So recently it switched, and regionals is gone, and now it's a whole bunch of independent contracted sanctioned events that now get to bring people to the CrossFit Games, and there's no more regionals. This weekend, the first official sanctioned event came and went. We were crowned, the first people going to the games. But before we talk about anything like that, did you watch any of it?
I didn't.
Okay.
I knew that it was like live streaming and stuff, and I've watched some highlights and stuff like that. But I was just like, I don't know. It's just weird.
So it was in Dubai, and so they are, from where we are, it is exactly 12-hour difference. And so their days would start at like 8 a.m., which was like 8 p.m. for us. So I would go through my day, do everything, and then at night I would like settle down, turn on YouTube, because it was streaming on YouTube, and I would just watch it. And except for the second 2 days, or the last 2 days, there was 4 days altogether, and the last 2 days started at 1:30 p.m. for them, so 1:30 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
And so I didn't watch them, but I watched like recaps on it. And the first people going to the games are one, no surprise, Matt Frazier.
Yep.
Team is Invictus, and then two, total surprise was Sam Briggs.
Yeah. That's really cool. When I saw that, I was like, heck yeah, man.
Like,
that's awesome.
She absolutely just crushed it. Like, from the beginning, she, like, the first 3 events were, like, endurance events, swimming, endurance, stuff like that. And so she was, like, on top.
There was, like, an 8K run, right? Yeah. With a weight vest.
4K run in the desert over sand dunes in a weight vest. And then when you hit the 4K mark, you take off your weight vest and you run back.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So much easier.
Yeah. So...
dude, it blows my mind what they will make.
I know.
It's
almost like I kind of been like, it's almost like, let's just see what, like
how close can we get to killing someone?
Yeah, let's
legally. That's insane. And the fact that the Invictus team made it was interesting to me. Did you see? I saw some drama that happened. Did you see Rich Froning's post?
Yeah.
And so he posted. He's doing Wadapalooza with his teams, right?
Yeah. So here's the thing. This was the first time that Dubai ever did team events. They've never done team events before. And typically, there's a lot of synchronized stuff. So all 4 people have to do a pull-up at the same time. Or not all 4, but 2 of them. Stuff. Yeah, or the worm, where they all have like a long weight that they're all moving together.
It's a huge sandbag.
Yeah, and it's not about how fit people are, it's how well they communicate as a team. Dubai did, all right, we're going to do all the individual events as relays. So it literally was who has the fittest group of people, not who's the fittest team.
Interesting.
So even some events were like, you have to carry a yoke, you have to do some parallel handstand push-ups, you have to do some ring muscle-ups, you have to carry the rope back. Pick the fittest person on your team to do it. So it wasn't even the whole team. It was one person who did it, who represented the team.
So it makes sense.
So this is where the context comes for Rich Froning.
Rich Froning, who, if you don't know, fittest man ever.
Yeah.
4 times games winner, and then individual, and then is it 3 times?
3 times first, and then 1 time second.
1 time second. Yeah. So he's the man, right? And he's on a team, obviously. They're going to be doing Wadapalooza, I'm assuming, because that's what he said. And he said, hopefully Wadapalooza will have some actual team events.
Yeah.
And then I saw a comment. It was pretty funny. There's the top comment under it was well, then you should just go individual. And then he responded, good one. It's like, I don't know if he actually thought it was a good one. He was being sarcastic. But in my head, I was like, that was a pretty good one.
Yeah. What's funny is that either way, Rich Froning would have said it the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
Good one.
Yeah, it's true. He's
like,
so
just
like
this
monotone.
Flat. Yeah. Good one.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that was good. That was a good joke. But I just think it's like it's interesting. Like our space, our CrossFit space, like everything is different. There still isn't a rule book out.
Yeah.
And we've already like have our first.
Yeah, it's weird. What I think is weird. This is just my thoughts. Seeing the live stream and like the highlights that I've seen. How does Dubai do it?
I know.
There is nobody in the stands.
Yeah.
There was like 4 people.
Yeah.
And like all of these athletes are wearing like, special jerseys. From what I heard in the past, they used to like literally pay people to come and compete there. Mm-hmm. Like not win, just literally like, hey, we'll pay you your tickets. Just we want you to be here and compete.
Yeah.
How does that make like if there's not that many people buying tickets? Like I don't understand how that works. Like I know Dubai has a lot of money and like it's a very affluent area, but even then like it's
one of those weird like it's like those weird cities. I think there's one in like North Korea too where it's like really modern, really like just everything, but no one's really. It's just like it's like a show of like look how modern we are.
Yeah.
But then you like go anywhere else and it's like, oh, all right.
Yeah. I thought it was crazy. I'm stoked. Like for some reason, normally when it comes to someone being dominant, I want them to get beat. Mm-hmm. Right? For some reason with Matt Fraser, I'm like, I want him to win by as many points as possible.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I was kind of, okay, this is crazy. And for everyone who doesn't CrossFit at all, like, we CrossFit. and so we're talking about it right now. So I apologize, but also it's really fun. There was an event, the second event, it's a swim, and you have to carry like this lifeguard buoy, essentially. It was like not like a buoy, but the long lifeguard thing. It says lifeguard on it. You'd see it on Baywatch. The event was actually called Baywatch. And you do a run on the assault runner, and then you go to the beach and you do 350-meter swim, and then that's the event. And you had to keep that like buoy thing with you, that whatever it's called.
A little floaty.
Yeah, a little floaty. And Matt Fraser, he actually got like 9th on the event. It was like one of his worst finishes because he lost the floaty in the water, and you couldn't finish the event without it. Mm-hmm. And Bjorkfinn Carl Gudmundsson, who's a crazy, like he's one of my favorite people, like to watch compete and train. He's just ridiculous. He actually handed it to Matt Fraser, like caught it and gave it to him, and then they finished the event. And if Matt Fraser like did not finish that event, like he would have got a 0. And even last place doesn't get 0. Last place gets like 30 points, you know? So that's like a huge thing. The person who came in second place was Bjorkfinn.
Yeah.
And so it's just
overall,
like,
right?
Of the
whole thing.
Overall of the entire thing. And so it's like, it was just cool to see like knowing, man, this might be a bad decision, you know, like, but it's like the sportsmanship over the, sucks for you, suck it.
And that's, I think that's something that I like about Matt Fraser as well, is it's in the documentary. He says like he wishes everyone to do their absolute best when they're at the games, because he wants to beat you at your best. Yeah. And like he wants to destroy you at your best, right? Like and so I think that it was probably kind of the same thing. It's like I don't think that BKG would have felt like he actually won if that was you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it was like because he lost his buoy thing or whatever. Yeah. Like it wasn't a test of fitness, it was just because
of luck.
Yeah. So I thought it was
he got second place.
Second place, yeah. So it was that
it still was by 100 points. So
Jeez,
you know, like it was still a crazy margin.
Yeah.
But just to know that the second place person, because I think there was some weird, like if you got time capped or you did not finish a workout, like you like lost the ability to like get money. You know what I mean? Like there was some like weird stipulation on it. So it was like even that, like Matt Fraser won over $100,000 this weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so it's like, man. And so it's like even then, like just being a good sport like that, like that's what outside of CrossFit, like here's what I think why a lot of people like CrossFit and high intensity group classes. It doesn't even have to be CrossFit. If you're doing Orange Theory, if you're doing cycling, whatever, like people are exposed at those times.
Yep.
You know, this is why like when people show up and they're like, everyone's just so positive, everyone's so encouraging, everyone's so this, that. It's because those are the people doing that. Like in those hard moments when the workout sucks and you don't want to keep on going, are you going to finish it? Are you going to quit? Are you going to just start yelling at everyone, blaming everyone else? Or are you going to take ownership and move forward with it? And that is so much more than just working out. That is in everything in life. And if you can learn to do that when you're working out, I'm not saying that if you have a bad attitude, you're stuck like that forever.
Yeah.
But if you can learn to, while you're working out, say, this is to make me better, that will translate to every other areas of your life. And so that's why I think it's cool to see up in the top echelon of fitness, even they are putting character first over, oh, sucks for you, loser.
Well, and I think that's a good point, just in CrossFit in general and classes like that, is because most of the time, when you see people that go to the gym, do maybe a regular bodybuilding split, they usually go and a lot of time, I was the same way. When I just did bodybuilding, I would do what I enjoyed and honestly made me look good in the gym. And especially if there was girls there, hey, I want, you know what I'm saying? I want to do things that are going to make me look good to the opposite sex and to the other people in the gym, so they think I'm cool. I don't
alpha male.
Yeah. And yeah, right. But
so basically what you're saying is you're doing dumbbell bench press and you're just grunting the entire time, so everyone knows.
Yeah.
And then
everybody know.
And then you're just pacing back and forth, looking in the mirror for 10 minutes.
Everyone look at me. Yeah. But yeah, so that's what I did. I only did stuff that made me feel like I was awesome and made me feel invincible and I have nothing wrong, right? But then when I started doing CrossFit, you can't have that mentality when you first start because you're going to suck at everything. And so you almost have to humble yourself and be no, this 40-year-old woman is going to crush me in this workout, and you have to be okay with that, or else you're just not going to enjoy CrossFit at all, right?
Yeah.
And so it almost it weeds those people out that aren't going to have that mentality. And so that's exactly what you were saying. That's why I think CrossFit is so awesome for people that do have that mentality of no, I'm going to humble myself and realize that I'm not, all that in a bag of chips, and I have some things I need to work on.
Yeah.
So yeah, 100%. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. And it's again, I wouldn't consider being positive is something that I actually have to work really hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my go-to.
It's not, yeah.
It's not.
I can attest to that.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's really not. I get negative, or I get unmotivated, or I get that is my...
Well, the story we told earlier, you were in your head about how I beat you, and you're why am I even... I'm not even mad about that, but then you were just mad.
Yeah.
And, upset or, hurt or whatever
and
it
that's
was.
That's my...
It
that's
wasn't
my default.
Yeah, and you would think, for, the way that you are, sometimes it's you would be oh, great job, you beat me, cool. But, that's the ideal, right? I would love to be able to be like that all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
Yeah.
When you beat me in workouts, by a few seconds, I get mad.
Yeah.
I'm he knew what my time was, and that's the only reason he beat me.
Or one time when it ended with a run.
That made me so
mad. And you were in front of me.
The whole workout I was beating you.
And I knew that if I just sprint the last
100, not even 50 meters.
If I just sprinted, I would get into the door faster than you.
And he basically pushed me out of the way so he could get into the door. He beat me by 2 seconds. I was so mad because I didn't know he was
push. I didn't touch you.
I
didn't
that's
push
what it felt
you.
like.
Yeah.
And then so I'm I was so mad because I finished the workout but dude, after that I was okay, I don't care, because in my head I knew I could have pushed harder.
Mm-hmm.
In that last run, but I was I'm doing fine. I would think we were I was gonna be first in the workout at the class.
Yeah.
So I was okay, I'm gonna be first. Who cares?
Yeah.
And then you, and I was just, so it literally put in my head I don't care where anybody else is.
Yeah.
Push myself to my limits, because that's most of the time I'm very happy with the effort I put in.
Mm-hmm.
Then I wasn't, because I knew I could have put in more effort, but in my head I was I'm already in first place. Why do I need to push harder?
Yeah. But to say that my default isn't positive and isn't, and so if someone else I don't want someone to be discouraged. Well, I'm not a positive person, so I probably wouldn't enjoy it. It's no, this is how you get there. You get there by having a rough workout and pushing through it. And then when you're in this situation where you have to have a hard talk with someone, well, if I can make it through that workout, I can talk to this person.
Well, that's actually a really good point that you just brought up, because you always see the motivational quotes on Instagram, just be positive and think positive. But if you're not at that moment yet, or at that, part, that place in your life where you can be, and you think to yourself, well, I'm not positive, so what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
It's like anything else. You just have to work.
Mm-hmm.
You have to work for that to become positive. Like, so in it might not even, it might be like something happens, you're mad about it, but then you're able to take a step back, maybe you're mad about it for a few minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But then you're able to take a step back and be like, okay, let me analyze this. Why was I upset? Did I need to be upset? What could I have done differently? And that's something that's been helping me is like analyzing things, and it might even be the next day. Like recently I started like journaling in the morning, right? And like listening to sermons and really trying to like get in a good space in the morning right when I wake up so I can like, take on the day and feel good, And part of that has been reflecting on things that have happened the day before. Maybe it was like conversations I had with people, interactions I had with people. How did that person like, what did they think once I left? You know, all these things. That's how you become positive, because I can say I'm on that journey right now because I'm we're similar with that stuff. Like I would say I like to be positive, but I know that especially if I'm in a bad headspace, like we've talked about this before, I struggle with. Lately, it's been really good actually, and I think that it's pretty noticeable, to my friends and family. Like I have actually been in a really good place mentally and like not been negative, but that's because I've worked on it.
Yeah.
You can't just like hope and like pray that things are going to fix themselves.
Yeah.
Like it's work for change. Like it's like with anything though, with that mental battle of being like, I need to work on this. Like, I'm always so pessimistic. Yeah, you are. So like work on it.
Yeah.
And you can though. That's the thing that's cool about it.
Yeah. And I think like there's that saying where it's like the only constant is change, right? Mm-hmm. I think that is true for everything except you. Like everything. People are changing, events are changing, like whatever, situations are changing. But you're not if you're not working on it. Like if you're not working on like, hey, I have this anger issue. I need to work on that. If you never do that, like that won't change, and everyone else will. Everyone else will get more positive. Their life will change. They'll get more money. They'll whatever, and then you'll just be like, you'll just project your anger on them, and then you'll project your anger on this, and you'll whatever it is, laziness, whatever. Like everything changed. The only constant thing in life is change, except in your life. Because if you don't work to do that, then it really is like you just kind of stay there, and everything else changes, and then you look around and you go, why'd everything change? And then you get mad about it, and then everything else changes again, and then you get mad about it. And so it's like you do have to work at yourself, but you're not and that was the first thing. Our first episode was you can change. Like we are self-aware. We are really powerful. Like our minds are powerful. Our bodies are powerful. We can do a lot. And then it's just taking those small, little, tiny changes to become a better person. And it's worth it.
Well, and it's like it's possible too. Like that's the thing that I've always felt really confident in, like being able to change my body, how I look. Obviously like with losing the weight. But for me, my mind has been the issue that I've had. For a long time, like I still absolutely detest my handwriting. Hate it, right? Yeah. Hate it. It's really bad. I was literally in special education classes. I was in special ed all throughout from second grade on, and a big part of that was working on my handwriting. It didn't work. It's really bad, right? So I hate writing things on boards or literally I hate it so much that I hate seeing it. Like even if I'm the only one that's gonna see it, I don't even like to see it, right?
You've asked me to write your PRs on the PR board.
Yeah, literally, because it's embarrassing to me. And so one thing I talked about how I started journaling, it might sound silly to some people, like, oh, you're journaling, it's not like anybody's going to see it. But for me, writing and telling myself I'm going to write every single day, knowing how much I hate that was something that I worked on. Mm-hmm. But it was like all of those things, and then even journaling, because I've always been somebody, and reading, like I've been reading, but I actually want to talk about a book that I've been reading. But like all of these things are things I've told myself for years and years and years because I grew up, in special ed. I'm not good at that. I'll never be good at that. That's just not who I am. I'm not somebody that does those things. So then when I would maybe think about, I kind of want to read more, or I kind of want to do this, I would kill it at the start. It wouldn't even happen because I'm like, no, I'm not that person. I can't do that, And so for me, doing the journaling, doing the reading, and actually like really trying to get introspective has been like, it really has given me a lot more confidence and made me more positive, because it's like, for a long time I felt like I was stuck where I was, and now I'm realizing that I'm not, and like you actually can, break through things that you feel like define who you are. And like that's, for me, it's like even though it's been such a long time since I've been in high school or anything like that, for a long time, like I defined myself as someone that was in special ed and just I don't learn well.
Yeah.
I don't learn good. So
I ain't one of them learners.
I ain't one of them learners.
No, so you're gonna talk about your book, but like, what I do want to say, like, to wrap up that conversation we had and to bring it all back to the very beginning of the story, like, when I was like processing, why was I angry? Like, why was I upset?
Just because I'm better looking than you are.
Yeah. No, I think we already established that. Your face is painful to even look at.
Painful to look at.
But it was through that where I went through, okay, why am I upset? And like, we're getting like, this is just brotherhood. You know what I mean? Like, we're getting real for everyone listening. Like, this is just brotherhood.
Shout out to brotherhood.
Yep. Shout out to all the pears.
Shout out to the pears.
I eat pears now. But it was like I had to think about, why was I mad? I'm mad because he beat me. Why am I mad because he beat me? I'm mad because he beat me because there's a reason I didn't ask him to do the workout with me, you know? And there's a reason why I'm doing a different program now. You know, it's to not have to be beat by you so I can play my own game. But then I had to like, okay, even further back. Like, what does this mean in the long-term things? Nothing. If it doesn't matter in 5 years, don't spend 5 minutes on it. And so it's like, I will get better. Doing this programming, like giving it my all, I will get better. And I am only playing against myself. So it's awesome that you beat me. Like, it's awesome that you did that you've got this crazy work capacity, because that shouldn't affect how I'm going to move forward in my training. And if I allowed myself to be angry always, like if I didn't try to work on that, I wouldn't have that mindset. I wouldn't be able to go back to the greater picture and be like, oh, okay, here's how it all fits. I can swallow this for a second. Or I can't swallow this. I need to have a conversation. You know what I mean? Like, whatever the next step is there. But it's just that, it's that, like, step back, think about it. You don't have to be stuck where you are in that feeling, in that emotion. Look back. How can you move forward? Okay, go for it.
Yeah.
Just take it all back. So, you're reading a book.
Yeah, I am. So it's actually a book that I brought up. I think it was, I don't remember exactly which podcast it was. I think it might have been the third one. I think it was the first one when we were actually in here, in this room. So it was Extreme Ownership, and I am like almost done with it. And for me, again,
that's pretty crazy.
And I'm actually reading. It's not like an audiobook, because audiobooks are easier for me.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, I want to read this book. So it's called Extreme Ownership, and I really enjoy it. So the whole premise of the book and like the way that it's kind of structured is they have like these points that they'll bring up. It's two people. It's Jocko, and I think it's Babin is his last name. I forget the other guy that helped write it. But they're both Navy SEALs, and they were like high up in the Navy SEALs. Like
Isn't it crazy that Jocko was Josh Bridges'
I know
like, instructor?
Yeah, that's cool.
All
We need to get Josh Bridges.
I know.
But
hey, tag Josh Bridges.
yeah, hey, Josh, come on, hey, we want to hang out. But so the whole book is, a lot of it's they talk about like a story that happened when they were on a battlefield in I forget it's like it was in Iraq, like literally the most dangerous place in Iraq. Ramadi, I think it's called. And so they'll talk about this crazy thing that happened, and then they'll talk about like what they learned from it, and then they'll like apply it to business, right? So that's kind of how the whole thing is structured. But mainly what, like the thing that I've gotten from the most from the book is obviously taking extreme ownership of things, because like if you don't take ownership of something, especially like if you're trying to lead people, and if you just like blame the people that might be under you, like it's your fault that this didn't go right. In reality, if you're the leader, it's your fault. And you need the only way to move forward is by taking ownership of those things. And so like obviously I'm not some huge businessman that has like a bunch of subordinates under me, but when I think about it, even like relationships with, a girl I might like, or relationships with my brother, or you know what I mean, like the conversations I have with people, like if somebody leaves a conversation with me and they don't like how it went, or whatever, like I need to take ownership of like what can I do to fix that. And if there's nothing, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But like at least think about that thing, And so it goes with like anything when you're trying to change something, you can never make a change until you take ownership of that thing.
Yeah.
And so it reminds me of the Will Smith video where he did this whole rant on fault versus responsibility. So he talks about, I don't know why this just got kind of popped into my mind, but he talks about how like something can be somebody's fault. Like I made a video about it and I talked about, I could blame someone for the weight that I gained when I was a kid, right? I could say it's mom's fault. Mm-hmm. It's, whatever.
How dare she feed you the food that she could afford?
Yeah, exactly, right? So I could say it's her fault that I'm this size. But it's not her responsibility, especially when I was 20 years old is when I started losing weight. It's not her responsibility to make me lose the weight. Yeah. And that's like with anything. Somebody could have done something to you terrible, right? Absolutely horrible, like detestable thing. Yeah, it's their fault that they did that. But once you move on, it's not their responsibility to help you move on or to like make you move on from that situation.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, okay, so we have a history with like CPS in our family getting taken away by the government, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So
CPS is Child Protective Services.
Yeah, so we were taken away, and by all accounts, that is a terrible thing, especially as a mother, to have your children taken away because you can't even get it together. The government's like, yeah, we're removing you from the situation. So from that moment, our mom could have, oh, how dare the government? It's the government. How dare the government? Government. How blah 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 blah. This situation. This happened to me when I was a kid. How dare they? Or she can say, I have a responsibility to get my kids back, and she can clean up her life, get off drugs, go to a rehab center, graduate the rehab center, and get us back. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like she then internalized it. Yes, whole bunch of situations happen where she got her kids taken away, but now it is her responsibility to get them back. If a terrible, horrendous thing happens, you can wallow, you can internalize it, you can just shut in on yourself, which people do, or you can say, I'm going to make this my responsibility that this never happens to someone again, or I'm going to make this my responsibility that the receiver or the person who did it, like, that they receive maximum whatever, you know what I mean, like in a future case or whatever. Like I'm just throwing examples out, but like you can take on a mission and a goal and a point and what anyone else may will for bad in your life, what anyone else can will to cut you at your knees, knock you on the ground. You can say, no, like, this is going to be the platform I stand on, and you can turn it around and you can help other people. You can find a purpose. You can find a mission with it. Like, it is going to be harder, 100%, but like, you can do it.
Well, yeah. And like, for me, bringing it back to, I deal with a lot of people that like want to lose weight. And one of the most frustrating things for me is people, like, I can tell when somebody doesn't want to take responsibility for where they are in their life. Mm-hmm. And if you don't want to take responsibility, you will try and put that responsibility on somebody else. And what a lot of people do is they put that responsibility on some weight loss thing that they try as a detox or a wrap or a meal plan or whatever it might be, right? They try and put that responsibility on something else, and it just never works out. And for me, it's frustrating because you cannot have long-term change, and there's people that might not even take the responsibility, but they lose all the weight. But then they end up gaining it back because, again, they haven't fully accepted that it's things that they've done that have put them in the position that they're in. Mm-hmm. And so until you do that, that long-term change isn't going to happen. You have to really be like, this is my fault. And like a lot of people, you might say that, but in the back of your head, like, yeah, but like my metabolism is just slow. Or like, yeah, but like I just, there's this little thing that's in the back. But like you have to kill that thing. Yeah. Like you have to kill that, and you have to 100% take responsibility. And it's not easy. That's not easy. It's not easy to do. It sucks. And you might even cry. You might even it can be a really hard thing to do. And like having hard conversations with anybody is hard, but having hard conversations with yourself in your head are so difficult because it's so easy to just be like, nah, I'm not going to have that conversation. Yeah. It's like you're not talking to anybody. It's just in your head. Yeah. And so until you have that hard conversation and you're like, this is my fault. And that's exactly like, it's part of the click moment that I talk about. That's exactly what happened in my head that night I was eating Panda Express. This is my fault period, nobody else to blame.
Yeah.
I cannot blame anyone else. I'm the one that went to Panda Express and got this food. I'm the one that drinks 2 liters of soda every day.
Mm-hmm.
This is my fault. It doesn't matter what my friends can do and not gain the weight. It doesn't matter that, my brother isn't as overweight as me, but we seem to eat about the same food, because in reality, that wasn't true, but that's what would go through my head, right?
Yeah.
So I had to just cut all that stuff off and be like, it does not matter. This is my responsibility. It doesn't, and it when you say that, you have to, at the same time, be like, and it doesn't matter whose fault it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because it could have very well been I was force-fed for some reason, right?
Yeah.
And like somebody was force-feeding me food until I was 20 years old, but then all of a sudden they left. Yeah, it was their fault that I gained that weight.
Yeah.
We could say that. But it's not their responsibility.
Yeah.
It's not. And that's with anything. If it's with CrossFit and you want to get better, you have to take responsibility. What am I not good at? Okay, I suck at gymnastics.
Yeah.
And this is me.
Yeah.
I suck at gymnastics. Do I work on them enough? No.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
It's that extreme ownership. It all comes back to, taking that extreme ownership of this is something I need to fix.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else. And you like that. That's why the book, for me, it's just been awesome.
Yeah, and I think that people have to get to a point where they realize that faking it isn't going to work anymore. Like, I have vocally gone out there and said that I don't believe in fake it till you make it. Like, I just don't believe in it. I think it's a shallow, you're putting out skills you don't have to impress people that you don't like to get things that you don't want. Like, it's just like, it's out there for an image. And like, if you're not like true and like with yourself, like, you're going to always feel like a fake. You're always going to feel like you're lying. You're always, you know what I mean? Like, be true to yourself, like to your core.
Mm.
And I think like there's a problem where people have this like pretense out there. Like, they think that they have to put on a show. They have to let them know they're okay. Like, there's a difference between being like, woe is me all the time. You know what I mean? Where it's like how you doing today? Well, it's like, okay, no, don't do that.
You
like,
need to be Eeyore.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to be Eeyore. Like if the situation calls for it, if someone's walking past you and they're just saying hi to be polite, now's not the time to bare your soul to them.
Yeah.
You just go, good, thank you, because they're not really,
Yeah.
it's just a human interaction. Understand that. Figure out what that is. And then if there's a time where it's like, I'm actually not that good at driving stick shift. Like, if you're not good at driving stick shift and you keep on driving a stick shift, you're going to ruin that car.
Yeah.
The good thing to do is to be like, yeah, I'm not that good at driving stick shift. YouTube, let me figure it out. Go to a parking lot. Let me practice shifting gears. Whatever. Like, do the work. Be honest with where you are. And then, and only then, will you progress and will you get better. Same thing with working out. Don't pretend like you're like this great, awesome, iconic Matt Frazier yet. Mm-hmm. Like, you're never going to be that.
Yeah.
Maybe one person will. But you know what I mean? Like, be okay with where you are and like fight pretense in anything. Like, fight it. Like, do not let yourself try to believe that you're somewhere else than you really are. Like, you can attain for something. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, you can attain for it. But if you don't know where the start point is, like if you're trying to, this is going to not make any sense unless you live in San Diego, but if you're living in El Cajon and you want to get to Santee, don't pretend like you're in La Mesa. Mm-hmm. Because then you can't get there.
Yeah.
You may know how to get there from La Mesa to Santee or whatever, but like if you're not there, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Like, learn how to get there from where you are at that moment, and you can get there. You just have to work towards it.
Well, I think that's like what you're talking about is almost like ego stuff. You have to shut your ego down, and a lot of people, I get messages of people that say that they're scared to go to the gym, right? And I'm sure that's, for some people that's true, but I think that for a good amount of people, and this is like, I've never really thought about it this way, but now that I'm like, thinking about it, I think what's hard for people is that their ego, like they feel like they're going to go to the gym and not look like they know what they're doing, and that's going to take a shot to your ego. Mm-hmm. And so you have to be okay with putting your ego down for a little bit and just learning and being okay with being a beginner. Because when it comes to, the gym, even if it's CrossFit or like a regular gym, you're not going to be a know-it-all when you first start. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. And I think I think it's like, I don't have sympathy for people who say I don't know how to do it. Like, I just don't, because it's like, I've done multiple things in my life that I didn't know how to do in the start, but I learned. I like started slow. I started small. I watched a YouTube video. Like, literally, I've learned everything through YouTube. CrossFit, I heard about it through YouTube, and then I started looking stuff up on YouTube, and then I started doing skills and progressions because of YouTube. We talked about this already. Video editing. I had no experience. Nothing. I didn't know how to do it, and now it pays for all my bills. Video editing, and you know what I mean? It's like I don't have sympathy if you're going to say, well, I don't know how. It's like, just look it up. Like, especially these days when everything's on the internet, like, you can find out how.
Yeah. I understand where you're coming from, but I would say I do have some sympathy. Like, just coming from where I came from, I got really lucky that I wanted to learn how to play drums, because that was the first thing that I ever did that I had no clue how to do it. It was the same exact thing, right? And then I watched YouTube videos, and I taught myself how to drum. And it was like, I want to learn how to drum, and I took all the steps that I needed to take, and I am a pretty good drummer now, right? I want to play more, but, I'm a pretty good drummer, and that, I think, was, if I didn't do that, I honestly don't believe that I would have been able to lose the weight, because I wouldn't have believed in myself. So what I've noticed with a lot of people that are morbidly obese, and I know I keep bringing it back to this, but when you're morbidly obese, a lot of times, the people have never accomplished anything in their life. And they have no belief in their self. And so I understand where you're coming from, but like, if you've lived your whole life feeling like everything you've done has been a failure, it's not true. Like, you can 100% learn things, but when your whole life has been like, I can't do this, I've tried to lose weight a million times, when in reality they probably just haven't done the right things, but in their head, I've tried this a million times and I failed every single time. And there's nothing, like, for me, I had drums to be able to, like, no, I can do stuff. You know, if I have absolutely no clue, and that's exactly like how I started losing weight, was I just watched YouTube videos, and I thought, how am I going to watch tutorials? So I get what you're saying, and I agree with like, for most people, but I agree. I think I agree pretty much. But it's like, when it comes to things like that, like, I do understand where people are coming from that have literally never accomplished a single thing in their life that they're proud of.
And so in that, because I agree, but I still would say, like, you can do it, because if someone comes up to me and they go, hey, I'm really struggling with strict pull-ups, can you help me? I'm not going to go, no, I got no sympathy for you. You can figure it out, son. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the fool. Yeah, like, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to say is, hey, we don't have any lat pull-down machine, but that's typically the first thing. Work on lat pull-downs. That's going to work the strength. And then jump up to a pull-up rig and then let yourself down slowly. Like, I'm going to give you, like, some, like, here's how you can develop pull-up strength. I'm not going to punch them in the face.
Yeah.
But, like, I think the problem is, and this is, like, for a Work for Change podcast, this is probably, like, sounds against what we talk about, but, like, people's goals are too big, like your goal was not to set out to lose 180 pounds. Yeah. Like, maybe in your mind you wanted to lose enough weight to be healthy, but, like, it wasn't like 180. It wasn't, let me lose my brother's body weight off of myself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, but, like, if you set your goal to, I'm going to lose a pound today or this week, maybe not every day, like, but I'm going to do what I can to lose a pound this week. And then a week passes and you lost a pound. Sick. You just succeeded. Do that again. And we've talked about this multiple times. If your goal is to learn how to do, if you want to do 100 push-ups, start with one. Start with one push-up, get a good form, make sure it's right, do one push-up, stand up, you did it. You accomplished your goal. Eventually, let's do 2 push-ups. Let's lose 2 pounds. Let's whatever. And so I think that to this, like, people are terrified to lose 180 pounds. I get it. People are terrified to learn a new skill. The people are terrified to whatever, but you can learn how to do one part of it. Yeah. And you can put the work in to do that,
I think that it's interesting, because I feel like on both sides of, like, the spectrum of just, you need to work hard and just go out for what you want, but at the same time, when I hear some people say that, I'm like, but you don't know exactly what someone might be going through. So I'm always kind of like, work hard, but, like, I don't know exactly what you're going through. It's always been a struggle for me, like, when I talk about, like my routine, I understand that my routine is not feasible for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Like the life that I live is different if you have kids, if you know what I mean, if you're working two jobs or whatever. So I always like, this is what I do. I'm not saying you need to do exactly what I do, but I remember when I started, I was working 2 jobs and I made it work. Like there's always something you can do. There's always something you can do. It's not like you need to go from 0 to 100 like you were saying.
Yeah.
You can start small and then build on those small things, and then eventually you can actually change your life 100%.
Yeah. And I think the hard thing is that people want quick results.
Yeah.
And that's just a matter of fact. Like even for me, like I like seeing results happen fast. And so
It's the microwave culture.
Yeah, and it's like to be okay with slowing down and waiting, like doing things properly so that the results come. Like I remember when you were learning to do handstand walks after Power Monkey Camp, and you'd be like, you want to keep your core tight, you want to blah blah, and you do all that stuff, and I'm like, no, the best way to learn is to try them. You know what I mean? Like it was like this, like just try to do handstand walks, and eventually you'll figure it out. Like that's because it looks good to be walking across the floor with your hands. But, like, if you really aren't taking the progressions to do it, like, you can seriously hurt yourself. Or you're just stunting yourself. Because, like, if you don't have the core strength to do it, like, you're always going to fail at a certain point until you develop that core strength.
Yeah.
And so I just think we like the finished product. And we don't like to look at all the nuts and bolts to get it.
Yeah, handstand walking is fun, though. That's, like, one of my favorite things to do now.
Yeah, I think that on your Instagram feed, it's transformation picture with you looking in a mirror and handstand walks, and then maybe every once in a while you throw in something else in there.
No, I put in my front squat PR that I just got. Exactly. 345 pounds, bro.
Yeah, that was a great sumo squat.
Don't make fun of my squat form. That's not very nice of you. I would never do such a thing to you.
Oh yeah, no, you would just touch me all the time. And,
that doesn't sound right at all.
If you're listening, help. Help me. This is getting
no,
out
but like
hand.
there are like certain things that I think that like hype me up and get me excited more than like someone that didn't lose a lot of weight. You know, like for me, walking on my hands was like that. It's like there was no way, I was gonna do that, and so yeah, I definitely get probably overly excited about it, but
no, it's good.
For me, it's just cool. I like doing it.
People like seeing you excited.
Yeah, man. Gotta be excited about some things.
Yeah. Yours just happens to be walking on your hands.
Yep. All the time. I haven't been doing it as much. I've been trying to. Yeah. I need to get back into it though.
You need to get back into walking on your hands.
Yeah.
It's like a habit you've dropped or something.
Yeah. Yeah, back in the day I used to walk on my hands once a week. Now it's been
you still do it once a week. It was once a day.
It was once a day, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And then like there's just like other things like muscle ups and things like that. It's just like exciting. And yeah, it's like it kind of goes back to when I first started CrossFit. Like if my goal was I want to do that right now, I would have been so discouraged. It was like I had to build up the strength and the thing, like, you know what I mean, the body awareness to be able to get to that point anyways.
Yeah. I remember in our first CrossFit gym, I like walk in one day. I'm like, I'm doing a handstand push-up. No experience, no preparation, no nothing. Just like, I'm going to throw myself up on the wall.
Have you ever thrown yourself up against the wall before?
Before that? No.
So you've never been upside down?
No, I spent most of my time trying to psych myself up to get like, upside down against the wall. Because I got on my hands and knees, and then like tried like kicking up, and then they're like, you have to do it from standing up. And I was like, oh.
Dang it.
Yeah, like, I don't, And so that took a long time. And then it was like, you get up there and you slowly let yourself head touch the ground and then you're like,
and
drop off. Yeah, exactly. And that was like the first couple times. But it is that whole like, you see someone doing something, you're like, I want to do that. I'm going to do that right now. And
you just have to like understand you're on your own journey, man. 100%. And so yeah, it's there. And there's people in here that I try and like, they see what I'm able to do, and they're like, oh, I want to be able to do that. But I'm like, you have to work on yourself first. Like Dave, he's an older guy that goes here. He's like one of my favorite people ever, but he definitely struggles with like wanting more.
If Dave hears that you just called him one of the older guys, he's gonna like rip your head off.
Older than us, okay? He's like 74. He's in his 40s, but
he is a grandpa.
Yeah, he is a grandpa.
Yeah.
Exactly. So he's Grandpa Dave.
Grandpa Dave.
But he definitely he's in the same boat. Like he's been working on it, but it's like, oh, I want to do that, and you feel like what you've accomplished isn't good enough, you know, but it's just not true.
Yeah. You're on your journey, man.
Yep.
So, to close, I was thinking, like, why did I choose Misfit? Mm-hmm. Just bringing it way back.
Yeah.
All
the way to the beginning.
All the way to the beginning. Like, why did I choose Misfit? And I think I'm a sucker to branding, 100%. Like, as much as I hate that, like, I am a sucker to branding. Mm-hmm. I do not wear. I'm wearing a Nike shirt right now. Actually, you can't tell because it's camo.
You're a what shirt?
Yeah, exactly. But like, I'm a sucker to like that brand portrays cool. That brand portrays lame. Mm-hmm. I want the cool brand. Like, I'm becoming more okay with that now. So in my mind, like, there's probably 4 like main training camps. There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
So in my mind, Comp Train is like, you're on Comp Train and you listen to audiobooks and you like listen to Tim Ferriss and you schedule out your day to the minute and that you do Comp Train.
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of person who does that. Invictus, in my mind, is like the jock.
Yeah.
Like, they had all the girls in high school. Now they're just doing like they're just like, let's go play football and then we'll do Invictus. Like,
so we're never going to be sponsored by Comp Train or Invictus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm just like naming off people who are no longer wanted.
So anybody that follows Comp Train or Invictus is no longer listening to the podcast. Okay, thanks, John.
Hey, if you disagree, let us know why on YouTube in the comments. And then Misfit is kind of, then there's Brute Strength, but they don't have like a free blog out, so I didn't even check it out. But that one's like
they're not
like
free, so
yeah, that one's like
garbage.
All intensive.
Yeah.
Like, that one is like all in, you know. Misfit is kind of like it. I mean, literally the name is Misfit.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's this like, yeah, we do what we want, we do how we want it, and it works, you know. And like, for some reason, that like off branding, where it's like that, it's almost like their lack of a brand is a brand. Where it's just purple, you know. You know that they're Misfit because they're purple, but besides that, there's not a lot of cohesion. A lot of them have tattoos. A lot of, you know what I mean. It's just kind of like, I don't know why. That was why I chose it. Was off branding.
Yeah, well, and I mean, there's some people at the gym that do it too.
Yeah,
I'm sure that was part of it.
That was a huge part of it. Like, nice knowing that I could do it with them. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Mike and Jazz, and hopefully Kyle one day back.
Yeah.
But like, a huge part of it was just like, I was going to get better if I did Comp Train. I will get better if I do Invictus.
With any of those things. Yeah.
I will get better with any of them. So I wasn't trying to think about which one's going to give me the greatest shot.
Yeah.
It was just like,
at being less bad.
Yeah, you know. It literally was like, I like them.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm going to do them. And so for a lot, like, we talk a lot about being really intentional and really being deep and really, sometimes you just have to do it. Just make a decision and go with it. And then in 3 months, if it's really not working for me, I can do something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's not the end of the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, paralysis by analysis, right? That's like, you've been talking about doing something, but you've been like looking at this thing, and you never would do anything.
Yeah, I've talked about switching
for months
now.
Yeah, for months.
Not because I didn't like it, what I was doing.
Yeah,
but just because I knew I wanted more. Yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of branding, we should talk about the situation with the T-shirts.
I haven't received any updates on it, so if you know anything.
No, there's no updates, but I just wanted to, like, we want to make them.
We want to make T-shirts with our branding on it, and we threw out a poll on your Instagram not too long ago, and it was dead even.
Basically 50-50.
It was dead even on designs.
But we just wanted to put it out there that, like, we want to do that, like T-shirts with the logo, the Work for Change logo.
To start. And then maybe we'll get a whole brand out of it, a whole thing out of it. Or, I mean, we will get a whole thing out of it. But the first one's going to be Work for Change T-shirts coming soon.
Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there for you guys, just so you can kind of, you know, be ready for it when it comes out. Because the first run is going to be very limited because it's not like we're millionaires, so we can't put like thousands.
It's coming out of our pockets.
Yeah, we can't put thousands and thousands of dollars down for a bunch of T-shirts. So if you are interested, just keep an eye out, and we'll let you guys know. But yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about a bunch of things. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about?
No, I literally got everything that was on my chest. I just poured it out.
You did?
Yeah.
Great.
My anger towards you, just everything is just poured out.
Awesome, man. All right, cool. Well, thank you guys for listening, watching.
Doing whatever you're doing.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your drive.
Yeah, or whatever it is that you're doing.
Or I hope your room is clean by now.
Yeah, and we love you guys.
Peace.
Peace.